Welcome everyone to Trend Micro Talks. I am your host, Erin Tomie, and today we're talking to Trend Micro Global Security and Risk Strategist, Shannon Murphy. Shannon, how are you doing today?
Hey Erin, thanks so much for having me on. I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You are very welcome. Happy to have you. And I would love to just start with you sharing a bit about your role here at Trend Micro.
Absolutely. So, a beautiful part about Trend Micro is organization is always evolving. We're such an innovative company, and with that comes a lot of opportunity to transition into different types of roles and try some new things out. So I'm very excited about this. I'm actually in a new role and really focused on enabling our customers and enabling our field, keeping people up to date on that latest innovation that we've been bringing to the market, and ultimately just helping anyone who interacts with Trend kind of become a platform advocate of their own.
Well, I'm very excited for you to take on this new role and this new challenge, and I know many other people are as well. And I know before you kind of officially jumped into the role, you attended quite a few stops on Trend's global Risk to Resilience World Tour, even going as far as Australia and New Zealand. So at these events, you had the opportunity, I'm sure, to speak with numerous Trend Micro customers at all the stops. What did you learn from them in terms of their biggest challenges? And then also afterward, we could touch on how Trend is helping overcome those challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. The two that really come to mind for me are actually both around risk. So the first one is, I'm a CISO. I'm responsible for keeping my customers, my partners, my staff safe. And I'm kind of operating on this philosophy or premise that, something bad could happen. There's always potential for an incident to happen. I maybe don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know why it's going to happen. I don't know where in the environment that it could start. But how can I get into the best position possible in order to mitigate that risk or mitigate that threat up front? And our customers are not the only ones thinking of risk like that. The SEC is thinking of risk like that. They just published a blog, Cyber Risk is a Business Risk, which was actually the same title of our keynote. So there's a lot of consistency in the way that people are thinking about risk. Cyber insurers are taking notice of this as well. They want the companies that they insure to be in the best possible shape so that when that incident does happen, they're ready, or they're preventing that incident from happening by being in such a healthy position. So risk and proactivity and having a really healthy security posture is very top of mind. How can I get out in front of this stuff so I'm not always in this reactive firefighting mode? The second is, how do I communicate that risk? So how can I make this cyber risk really relevant outside of the IT or security team? So how can I talk to my CFO? How do I talk to my COO? How do I communicate this to my board? I've seen what CEOs get from their security teams, and I've seen what the CISO sends to their executive team. And in every company, it's so bespoke, it's so different. There's no consistency. Often you're pulling in data from different tools, and you're just kind of trying to show the best picture of the story that you can. So those are kind of the two challenges that I'm hearing very consistently.
I think it paints quite a story that, you were at these events, Australia, New Zealand, I mentioned, you were in Norway, Finland, places all across the US, and you still had that consistency of hearing those same challenges. It doesn't matter where these executives are, where these team members are, what country, no matter what, they're all worried or concerned about the same things and dealing with it on a daily basis. And at the same time, they're all going about it in very different ways. And they all have different strategies and different tools and solutions they're using to try to solve the same challenges. And I would love to hear just a bit on how Trend is then helping these customers overcome those challenges you talked through.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the challenges are truly borderless, right? Because the adversary is truly borderless. So I'm not too surprised at the consistency, and that consistency helps us, build for that shared challenge. For me, what I've found is that it's very challenging to make sense of data that you do not own. At Trend, we're in such an incredible position because we have this breadth of capability across the entire environment. We're looking at the network, we're looking at the endpoint, identity data, we're looking at the cloud, we're looking at email. So we're getting all of this contextualized data coming into the platform so that we can better prioritize for the customer. So what are your most important risks? And then we're also able to give better risk quantification because we're pulling in from that same kind of data lake or security analytics engine. When you're working with different silos or you're relying kind of exclusively on integrations, you're not getting that single source of truth or that single picture, so that you can take advantage of all of the communication benefits of having all of this data in a single platform.
Switching gears a little bit, this talk is being shared during October, which is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And for 2023, the theme is protecting yourself and your business online, which just emphasizes the need for individuals and companies to take proactive steps to secure their online presence. So something that I'm asking all of my guests this month is, what are some top tips you'd like to share with friends and family when they come to you as cybersecurity expert that they know? How do you, what advice do you give them for how they can stay secure themselves?
Absolutely. And, I think a lot of the time we think, what are the best tools you can use and what apps can you download? And those are all, that is great advice to have. It's very challenging to get someone to download an app, to be honest. So what I really try to talk about with my friends or family is just to have a very conscious awareness of the type of information that you're putting out there and maybe unknowingly or unintentionally putting out there. Now, Facebook has been around for so long. We actually have 17-year-olds, 16 and 17-year-olds who have been on the internet maybe even before they were born. If you posted an ultrasound, I'm so excited, I want to share with my friends and family. Okay, you have been on the internet since before you were born now. So what is the type of profile that even someone with a low level skill could actually build on you? The example that I give all the time is, okay, my Instagram handle is Robert_2388. Okay, when do I think your birthday is? I think your birthday is February 3rd, 1988. And I can very quickly start to build a profile based off of your habits, where you like to go. So if you are sharing sensitive personal information, that's your choice, but maybe have a really good reason if you're putting it out there.
I think that's great advice. And I think especially in our culture of sharing everything, I think it's really good for people to be aware, and we're not saying don't share things.
Not realistic. Yeah.
It's not realistic to ask people to not share anything about their life, but if you do share things, just be mindful. Maybe don't have your birthday in the handle. If you're posting, I always see pictures of people's cars, blur out or crop out the license plate. Just little things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is really just a philosophy to keep yourself safe that you can practice every single day.
Shannon, thank you so much for sharing those quick tips with us, and also just sharing more about your new role, which we're all very excited about, and your experience on the Risk and Resilience World Tour. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. I had so much fun.